You want to flip houses, you want to make all kinds of money, but there are a few things you have to make sure you do not do in order to protect your success. We're going to talk about that coming right up. What's going on, guys? Mehdi here, host of the Millionaire Mindcast, founder of the Rich Life Academy, talking about all things mindset, money, and motivation to help you on your march to a million and beyond. There are so many people who reach out to me all the time about flipping houses. Many of you know I have flipped hundreds of houses over the last decade and built a multi-million-dollar rental portfolio with the profits that I generated from flipping those houses. And I have, first and foremost, full disclosure, made all of these mistakes, which is why I want to share them with you to make sure you don't make them as well. And I see new investors making these mistakes over and over and over again. And they are really easy to avoid if you do it properly. And really, we always say you make your money on the buy. You make your money on the buy, you realize it on the sale. So you really want to make sure that when you are doing your analysis, you are taking into account all of the things that need to be accounted for to ensure that your financial analysis is bulletproof. So that way, when you go and make your offer and they accept it, now you really know that everything that's going to go into the process from when you close on the property to when you sell the property, that it is executed on accordingly. So that way you can protect your profit on the back end. So let's dig in to the top 3 mistakes that new real estate house flippers make when analyzing a deal. The first mistake that most new real estate investors make is they underestimate the repairs. They often think that because it's just a lack of experience, it's going to cost this amount when really it's going to cost that amount. And the way that you can ensure that you have built out a good scope of work is to make sure that all of the comps that are selling for top dollar that you're going to be modeling after to get it in the same condition so that you can sell it at the same price, you want to make sure that you don't over renovate, right? You don't do any more than what those comps are and don't do any less than what those comps are. You're not building a brand new home. You're flipping a house to make a profit. You're not going to live in it, right? So don't overdo what the scope of work is going to be, but also don't underestimate how much is really going to go into it. And the way you can do that is by having a good scope of work. You can then ensure that you have a couple contractors come out, bid out that scope of work, and make sure that your numbers are bulletproof, making sure that they aren't going to do any change orders, that all of the things that you want done are accounted for in the bid. So that way you really know a concrete number that you can plug into your analysis and you're not underestimating. I see new investors do this all the time where they say it's only going to be $30,000 in repairs. And obviously having the experience that I've had and being in hundreds of deals and seeing how these deals play out, I know that oftentimes, hey, you think it's going to be 30,000, but it's really going to be 50 or 60,000. And that difference right there could be the entire profit margin for the deal. So make sure you don't underestimate the repairs that are going to go into the property. Number 2 is they underestimate the timeline, or what is actually going to be needed from a time perspective to actually get the repairs done. So from the time that you buy the house to when you close on the house to when you start fixing it up to when you put it back on the market, just because you fixed it up doesn't mean that it's going to sell on day one, right? So you need to account for the days on market that the property might sit for. And then once it gets an offer, then you're probably, if it's a traditional buyer, you're going to have at least a 30 or a 45-day escrow for that buyer to get their financing order and close. So making sure that you have the right timeline from start of when you purchase it to sale to when it hands off ownership to the new buyer, you want to make sure that you're accounting for that entire timeline because that's going to tie into your financial analysis, right? your holding costs on the property, how long you have to pay for the utilities or taxes that you're going to have to pay, or the cost of the money you might be borrowing and how that all factors in. Having a difference between a couple extra payments to your mortgage lender, right, could make the difference in eating into some of your profit margins. So make sure that you are allocating enough time from start to finish. Again, I always like to overestimate on a lot of these things and underestimate on other things to make sure that I am giving myself enough safety nets and baking in enough cushion, because if all goes according to plan, right, those little extra timelines or dollars allocated to the construction budget will come in extremely handy. And at the end of the day, that'll just be icing on the cake that drops to your profit margin, bottom line, and money in your pocket. Number 3 is they overestimate the ARV, the after repair value of what they think they can sell the property for. You never want to get too optimistic. You always like to be right in the median of where the comps are at. Yes, you can always try and aim to be one of the top or the highest selling comps in the neighborhood, but at the end of the day, right, that is, of course, the goal, but you want to analyze and underwrite your deals as being in the median or a little bit over the median comp sale price, because if you buy based on those numbers, then you're going to be looking really good to ensure that if you hit it, great, your numbers are on point. If you go above it, even better, you're going to put more money in your pocket. But if you think you're going to sell it for, let's say, $300,000 and comps really only support $275,000 or $280,000, and then let's say for some crazy reason the property ends up selling less and is at the $265,000 range, now all of that upside you thought you were going to capture is gone, of course, and you're actually even below that line. So now you're looking even worse off. I always see new investors get extremely optimistic on what they can sell a property for, not knowing what they don't know, and then they set themselves up for failure. So make sure that you have some really key comps to support the type of property you're buying and what kind of repairs you're going to put into it and what it can sell for, and then be right in between the highest comp and the middle comps to give yourself a little bit of room to work with, so that way you're not setting yourself up for failure if you do not hit the top sale comp number in the neighborhood. So as you go out there and you start making offers and getting going on your real estate investing journey, just make sure to keep these 3 things in the back of your head when you're doing your financial analysis on how you are going to purchase a property. This is going to be very helpful in making sure it sets you up for success instead of failure. I would much rather you be a little bit more conservative on your first deals and get that first deal that's a winner than overextend yourself, be overly optimistic, and you end up losing. And you never want to come back and be a real estate investor again. Set yourself up for success by taking these things into account. And if this was valuable for you, be sure to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to subscribe, and also know that the Millionaire Mindcast is available on all platforms for your listening pleasure, so you can check that out. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday episodes. And really, these are just some key things that I wanted to share with you guys to ensure that ultimately you don't end up overpaying for a deal and losing. We're all about winning big, leveraging real estate to unlock more freedom in our life and our business, to have a greater impact, influence, of course, income, right? Everybody likes to make some money. So be sure to take these things into account when analyzing your next deal. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comment section below. Also, check out the links that are below to see more free resources, downloads, and things for you guys at therichlifeacademy.com. And with that being said, keep investing in yourself and your wealth on your march to $1 million and beyond. Cheers, my friends.